guys, it's me Justine, and I haven't been this excited to film a video in a while. I'm just so excited to talk about this. So on the weekend from January 13th to January 15th, I went to a 3-day convention for my favorite show, The 100. I have loved the show for probably, I don't know how long. I think around 3.5 years I've loved the show. I've been wanting to meet this cast for so long. I was supposed to meet Richard Harmon, who is one of my favorites on the show, at a convention in 2015, but that got canceled last minute and I didn't get a refund or anything, and I was really upset about that. I remember my dad saying, be on the lookout for other conventions maybe nearby, like in Vancouver. So one day I was on Twitter and I see a tweet from this girl I follow saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for Unity Days." And I was like, Unity Days? That's like on the 100 they have this day called Unity Day. I was like, ooh, is that something 100 related? Because I knew this person lived in Vancouver, so I thought maybe there's something to do with the 100 going on in Vancouver. So I searched Unity Days. Turns out there was going to be a convention for the 100 called Unity Days in Vancouver at a hotel. And I was like, okay, this is perfect. And I was freaking out, and I think I cried, and I was so excited. A while later, my mom and I got tickets because I don't really have any friends that watch the show, and my mom does, so we both got tickets. I bought a photo op package with 4 of the stars of the show, and then I ended up buying another photo op package like right before the convention, and our package also came with 1 photo op each. So if I didn't say before, I'm going to be telling you about my experience at Unity Days. On the Friday, we took the ferry over to Vancouver, did some shopping and some eating, and then we went to the hotel that the convention was taking place at. And this hotel was it was so nice. Like, we had a view of the ocean, and it was so beautiful. So we put our bags in a room and everything, and the convention was starting at night on the Friday. None of the cast was going to be there. It was mainly to register, and there was 1 panel with some fans of the show. They have podcasts and stuff for the show. The convention was a lot smaller than I expected. It's a hotel, so it should be smaller, but for some reason I expected there to be 700 people, but no, it was quite small. It was 200 or so. It was just really cool seeing all these people who are fans of the same show as you. So I registered, and they gave us these little wristbands. Just says regular because we had the regular pass. We're just regular people. So we went to that panel with the people who do podcasts for the show, and that was fun. They were really nice, cool people, and they shared their thoughts on the show about season 4, which is the upcoming season that starts on February 1st. I was feeling so nervous because the next day, that's when the cast will be there. That's when I'll get to see these people that I've been waiting to see for so long. I wake up bright and early on the Saturday and get ready, go for Starbucks, and the time came, and we went back to the hotel, and we went in the room where they were hosting the panels, and we made it there just in time. They were just bringing out all of the cast for a welcome panel, so just to introduce them all, even though we all knew who they were. The whole cast came out, and I was like, that it's them, they're real, and it was just so surreal seeing them. After that, they went off stage, and I think a real panel started. That was just a quick introduction, but I think it was the boys of the show, the guys. They were the first panel. They're hilarious, those guys. They're a comedy act. All the cast, really, they're hilarious. I found myself crying at one point. Tell you guys about each person I met. So the first person I met was Sachin Sahil. I think that's how you say it. I'm still not quite sure. I should probably know now. Some people said it was Sachin because they were such an awesome guy, but I don't know if that actually is how you say it. Maybe it is. I'm just gonna call him Sachin because he was one of the nicest people I met that weekend. He cared so much about everyone. Me and my mom went up to get his autograph because we got these little cards and they got punched when we got an autograph from each person. There's Sachin's right there. Yeah, so he went up and he gave us a hug. I think he was like the only one who gave us a hug at the autographs. I just can't remember everything that went on because so much went on, but I think we were just talking about the show and how we love it so much and you're amazing in it, blah blah blah. And when writing my autograph, I remember he like took a while to write it. Like he really thought about what he was gonna write on the autograph or the picture. Here is the picture Sachin autographed for me, and he wrote, "Justine, you're the only one I want on my team." It rhymes. Yeah, that was really sweet. And we ended up seeing him, being in the elevator with him like 3 times. The first time we talked to him about convention and stuff, and then the second time he was wearing like a I Love Raven pin, which is one of the characters on the show if you haven't seen it. And he was like, "I'm a Raven guy." And he said that someone at one of the panels, when they asked for fan questions, someone should go ask Lindsay, who plays Raven, on a scale 1 to 10 what she thinks of Sachin, because on the scale for him it would be a 59 for her because he just loves her so much. I don't know if anyone ever asked, but he did ask a question to the girls during their panel. He ran up to the microphone as soon as they asked for fan questions and he said, "Hey, my name's Chad, and I'm wondering if you had to choose one Indian male doctor on the show to date, who would it be?" And he was obviously talking about himself. And I think it was Katie Stewart. She said, "Oh, Richard." And he was like, "Richard isn't Indian, but he does have Indian eyes though," or something. And that was really funny. We were laughing, but actually maybe that was why when I was crying from laughing so hard. I can't remember. And then we saw him in the elevator again, and he said, "Oh, the whole family's here now," because he had like his team, like his manager or whatever. And then me and my mom walked in, so we were part of his family now, or his weekend family, as he said. The next person we met was Louisa Oliveira, I think is her last name. There's a D. Louisa D. Oliveira. She was so sweet. Like, she looks so different in person, because on the show she has like scars and stuff. My mom was asking her about like the scenes where there's a lot of blood and stuff, and she was talking about how the blood just tastes like sugar, and it's so different when they're doing the scenes. They know it's not real blood, so she doesn't get freaked out when she sees it on TV. Here's my autograph from Louisa. See, she has like a scar there and some makeup there, so she looked totally different in person. She looked younger in person. And she said, "Justine, have a great time this weekend. Great to meet you." And she was really sweet. I love this picture. The next person we met was Richard Harmon, who, like I said before, I've been wanting to meet for a long time. My mom went up and talked to him first. They were talking about the violent stuff too. She was saying how she has to cover her eyes and stuff, and he was like, "Oh, then the season 4 trailer may not be for you then." And then on her autograph, which I don't have here, he wrote, "I'm gonna keep this PG for you." So I found that funny. When I got up to him, at first I barely said anything, which I had a lot more I thought I had a lot more to say to him than all the other people there, but all it came out was, "Hi." And then the girl who was she had sticky notes with our names on it so they could give it to them, then they'd write our name properly or whatever on the autograph. And she was like, "This is Justine," because I forgot to say who I am. And he was like, "Oh, Justine." I was like, "Yeah." He's looking at the autograph, has his pen, he's thinking about what to write. And then he turns around and asks one of his friends something for a character name from the show Fight Club. He was like, "Oh, what's that character's name again?" And I was like, where is he going with this? And then he got the name, and it was like Ty Durnall, I think, from Fight Club. And I've never seen that movie, so I was like, what's going on? What's he talking about on this autograph? And then he writes the autograph, and then after he was like, "Wait, have you even seen Fight Club?" And I was like, "No." So he rips the picture in half, and me and my mom were like, "No." And he was like, "Your autograph would have been ruined." And I was like, "Yeah, no, it's fine." So he wrote me another autograph, and it says, "Justine, therefore I can't go for that. No can do." He was such a nice guy. I saw him a few other times, which I'll talk about soon. So the next person we met was Jared Joseph. He was such a nice guy. We talked about pizza because he was saying he really wants pizza, and then I was like, now I want pizza. And then later I did get pizza, and it was really good. So thank you, Jared, for making me want pizza. it was funny because Chelsea Reist, who was sitting near him, she like swore, and my mom was like, "You guys sure do swear a lot." And he found that really funny, and he said that my mom was the first one to call them out on that, and he referenced that in her autograph, saying, "I'll try to swear less." Here's his autograph to me. He really goes all out on his signature there, but he just said, "To Justine, thanks for coming." And yeah, he was very, very nice. Next, we met Lindsay Morgan, who is one of the stars of the show. She plays Raven. She was so sweet. She asked where we were from, we told her, and she said she's been wanting to visit where we live for a while, and I was like, yes, you should come here. And then my mom, she realized that she had a ring on with a raven on it, and my mom knew that the meaning of raven was unbreakable, so she told Lindsay all about that, and she didn't know that raven meant unbreakable. And then on my mom's autograph she wrote, "To Lisa, thanks for sharing that with me," or whatever, and then she wrote unbreakable and on it. She's one of my favorite people I got to meet. Here is my autograph from Lindsay. It says, "Justine, I have to visit you on the island, XOXO," and I'm holding her to that. Next, we met Jessica Harmon, who is Richard's sister, and she is really funny and nice. My mom asked her if Richard is really as bad as he says, and she said he's worse. And also that they get along really well, like their whole family's really close. This is Jessica Harmon's autograph to me. She said, "We love you," and when she did this big heart, it like went off the page, and that was funny. It went on to the fabric of the table. And next we met Chris Larkin. One of the runners of Unity Days came up to us and was like, "Do you want to meet Chris Larkin in a meet and greet?" Which is half an hour long. You get to talk to them with just a small group of other fans, and we were like, yes. So we took the tickets, we went in, and Richard was doing his meet and greet like right by us, and Chris was late, and he was like, "Oh, Chris isn't even here yet," and we were like, "Oh, we're getting to know each other though." Chris came in with a piece of paper, and he got us to write down our name, our age, our favorite donut, favorite album, and some other thing, favorite book. And that was cool. He wanted to get to know us. He wanted to listen to new music and find new books to read, but he said he probably won't go trying all these donuts, but he just randomly came up with that. I wrote down Ed Sheeran's album as my favorite, and we talked about that, and he asked if anyone's seen or read the 100 books, and I said I have, and he said he hasn't even read them. And I was the only one who read them at that table. Best part of that meet and greet was when he said, "Oh, should I call someone?" And we were like, yes. So he called Marie, who plays Octavia on the show, and we left a message for her because she didn't answer. And it's funny because it was on speaker and it was saying like, "You have reached," and then it said her phone number, so we all like talked over it so no one could like memorize her phone number and bug her. Not that any of us would do that. And then he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna call Devin now." And Devin plays Jasper on the show, and I love Devin, so I was so excited. And Devin answered the phone, and we all said hi to him, and he seemed kind of confused. He was like, "Where are you, Chris?" And he was like, "Unity Days," and he was like, "Oh, hi guys," and I'm not sure if he knew he was still on speakerphone, because he started talking about, he was like, "Oh, I have these pictures of Bob in his underwear everywhere," and Bob is Bellamy on the show, and we were all like, "What?" And we were like laughing, and then Chris quickly took him off speakerphone and was like talking about it, and then he was like, "Okay, I'm putting you back on speakerphone," and we all found that pretty funny. Not sure why he had those pictures, but and at the end of the meet and greet, Chris took out this book he had, and it was a book of short stories, and he ripped it in half, and we were all like, "What are you doing?" And then he gave us each a signed short story. Here's mine. It's called Mr. Coffee and Mr. Fix-It. I haven't read it yet. And he signed it, and that was just really nice of him. He gave it to everyone there. Next, I met Chelsea Reist, and she was really sweet and funny. I can't remember everything we talked about. We talked a little bit about depression because she had talked about it in one of her panels. And here's my autograph from her. She said, "Justine, you're stunning. Enjoy season 4. Much love, Chelsea," aka Harper on the show. And then we met Katie Stewart. I think she was one of the last people we met. They only had this picture left. It's mainly of Chelsea, but there's Katie right there. It says, "Justine, you rock the Casbots, much love." I've never heard that saying before. I think my dad said it's from a movie. I don't remember which one, but that was cool. And she's very sweet as well, all of them are, but yeah. Then I believe the last person, she was the very last person we met, Tassia Teals. She plays Echo on the show. She was also very sweet. She's like really pretty, and she looks different in person too. And she wrote, "Justine, you beautiful thing. Keep smiling, laughing, loving." And yeah, that was really sweet. And she was so nice, guys. Everyone was so nice. So the photo ops. I got photos, 4 photos. So the first photo I got was with Eliza Taylor, who is the star of the show. And I love this picture so much. She was so nice. Like, I went up and hugged her, and I was like, "I love you so much. Can I hug you?" She's like, "Yeah, of course." And she's laughing, and she was just seemed so happy. And my mom was like, "Oh, you do so well on the show. Like, keep it up. Like, you're amazing." And she was so happy to hear that. She was like, "Oh, thank you so much. Like, that means so much." Right after that picture, we went to get a picture with the Harmon siblings, Richard and Jessica, and here it is. That's Jess, that's Richard, obviously. No, that's Jessica. I love how this one turned out too. We didn't really know what we were gonna do. Like, we walked in and I hugged them, and Jess thought my name was Denise, and I was like, "That's close. It's Justine, but close enough." And she remembered my mom's name, which was cool. They were like, "So what do you guys want to do for the picture?" And we were like, "I don't know, what do you want to do?" Like on SpongeBob.
I don't know, what do you want to do today?
They were like, "We don't know, we're not good at coming up with ideas." And my mom was like, "But you're actors, you should know." And they're like, "Yeah, we know, but we don't." And my mom came up with something. I don't really know. I didn't know where she was going with it. I didn't understand. So I was like, "Do you want to go back to back to Jessica?" She was like, "Yeah, we can do back to back." So we did that, and my mom and Richard did their thing. I love this. I love her face. It's great. Then the next day, I got my picture with Sachin, Richard, again, Lindsay, and Katie. And this was the one I was like really nervous about this one. I don't know why, just because there were 4 people. So I walked in and I hugged them all when most people weren't hugging them all, because apparently they were like running out of time and stuff, but I just did. I took advantage of it. They're really nice, and I was like, "Okay, so can we just do anything for the picture?" And I had plans. I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna ask them to do a group hug." I didn't. I just said anything because I wanted something weird and random for the picture, and I knew they'd come up with something. Sachin, he had an idea. He said, "Okay, so I'm gonna put both my arms up both your sleeves." And I was like, "Okay," so we did it. And then I felt a hand slowly going around my neck, and I was like, "That has to be Richard, because that's a Richard thing." I mean, Murphy on the show, he'd do that. But no, it was Lindsay putting her hand around my neck. So that's Katie, and she was putting her hand in my pocket too, and I didn't know. And then Richard's like, "What the heck is going on?" He actually said that. He was like, "I have no idea what's going on." And then Sachin, he put his arms down my sleeves, and yeah, this is probably my favorite picture. I just love how random it is. And the last picture I got was with Chris Larkin and Chelsea Reese. Here it is. And I love this picture. They're so sweet. And Chris was like, "Oh, thank you for awkwardly meeting and greeting me yesterday." And I was like, "No, it was great. It wasn't awkward." They were amazing. I love them. That was a great convention. That was my first convention. I really hope there will be a second Unity Days convention. They were talking about there being one, and they'd call it Tunity Days. I would definitely go to that again. Even if it was the same cast, I'd probably go. Like, I want to meet them again already. So anyway, I'm gonna stop talking now. I've been talking for like a long time. I hope you all enjoyed this long video, and I hope you all have an amazing day. Bye!